What if I told you that the biggest prison you can live in is not poverty, it's not failure, it's not even suffering, but the belief that everything is always someone else's fault? Today we're going to talk about a delicate subject, a subject that can sting the ego a little, but a subject that can literally transform your life. Why does believing that our suffering is never our responsibility actually prevent us from growing? And more importantly, why does the real process of self-improvement begin the day we accept our share of responsibility? Stay until the end, because what I'm about to share with you could change the way you see absolutely everything you experience. When something goes wrong in our lives, our brain looks for someone to blame. I'm unhappy? It's because of my partner. I'm not moving forward. It's because of the system. I'm stressed. It's because of my job. I don't have enough money. It's because of the economy. And be careful. Sometimes that's true. Injustices do exist. Difficult circumstances do exist. Toxic people do exist. But that's not where the real problem lies. The problem begins when everything becomes external, when we never have any share of responsibility anymore, when we are always the victim of circumstances. Because at that moment, we lose something essential, our power to act. If everything is someone else's fault, then I can't change anything. And unconsciously, that's comfortable. Because questioning ourselves hurts. This is where things become subtle. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself, putting yourself down, telling yourself you deserve to suffer, excusing other people's abuse. No, taking responsibility means asking, what is my part in what I'm experiencing? For example, why do I always choose the same type of partner? Why do I stay in a job that I hate? Why do I tolerate behaviors that hurt me? Why do I never dare to set my boundaries? The difficult truth? We often unconsciously recreate familiar patterns because the brain prefers what is familiar over what is healthy. And as long as we don't face that, we repeat again and again and again. Imagine someone saying, I always end up with people who disrespect me. The uncomfortable question would be, why don't I leave at the first sign? Why don't I set a boundary? Why do I seek to be loved so much that I accept the unacceptable? This isn't self-blame, it's self-awareness. Because the process of improving our state of being begins here. When we realize that we sometimes participate, often unconsciously, in the dynamics of our environment. Our beliefs influence our choices, our reactions, our standards, our boundaries, our relationships. If I unconsciously believe that I don't deserve better, I will accept less. If I believe that I have to fight to be loved, I will choose unstable relationships. And it's not other people's fault. It's an internal mechanism that hasn't yet been brought into awareness. There is an essential distinction to make. Guilt, everything is my fault. Responsibility, I have power over what I create from this moment forward. That's completely different. Guilt crushes. Responsibility liberates. When I take responsibility, I tell myself, I can learn. I can set boundaries. I can change my choices. I can transform my reactions. I can evolve. And then I take back control. Not of the world, not of others, but of myself. And that's where real power begins. The turning point comes when you understand this. As long as you blame, you remain passive. When you take responsibility, you become a creator of your standards, your decisions, your environment, your boundaries, your future. Yet there will always be the unexpected. Yes, some hardships are not your fault, but your reaction, your inner posture, the way you respond to them, that is your territory. and that's where your evolution takes place. The question isn't, who is responsible for what happened to me? The real question is, what do I choose to do with it? The day you stop looking for someone to blame and start looking for a lesson, your life changes because you're no longer just enduring things, you're building. And remember, taking responsibility is not about condemning yourself. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to become a more conscious, stronger, freer version of yourself. If this video resonated with you, write in the comments, "I take back my responsibility," and share it with someone who needs to hear this. See you in the next video.